Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Post Credits Podcast, where we talk about movies after the credits roll. I'm Jesse.
My name is Max.
And I am Jared Leto, TRON 4 billion, here to explain the plot of the...
So we're here with
I'm Logan Davila.
Here with Jared Leto, Tron,
Yeah.
or whatever he said, to discuss the next in our series of weekly spoiler reviews. This is a spoiler review, which means that there are spoilers.
No way.
We are going to be discussing Tron Ares.
Kids,
Yeah.
plug your ears.
Guys, please, if you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing? Like, we're going to be spoiling it, unless you don't care and you just want us to spoil it to you then.
Or just watch a different review, or watch the movie, and then come back and hear what we have to say.
Yeah.
Or if you don't care, which I can imagine is a lot of you, we're just going to be talking about Tron Ares and giving spoilers. So, just going to dive right in. Just like last time, I'm going to start off with some production details that I think are important. This is the third in the Tron trilogy. Started with Steven Lisberger's 1982 movie Tron, continued 28 years later with Joseph Kosinski's directorial debut, Tron Legacy, and now is 15 years after that sequel. We're getting another one. It is a kind of a reboot to the series. It's not a pure sequel to Tron Legacy, despite the fact that Tron Legacy does have a sequel tease. All of these movies are based on a single video game from 1982. It was an arcade game. So, yeah, that being said, how did you guys find out about Tron Ares, and how many of the other Tron movies have you seen?
I have seen none of them, and I've only heard this one because you mentioned it.
That's a theme.
That's going to be a recurring theme.
That's a theme.
Yeah. Recurring thing. As for me, Tron Legacy is a movie that was for my first introduction to this franchise. I kid you not, I watched it about 12 years ago. I was at my friend's birthday party when I was in elementary school, and we watched the movie, and I really was invested in it, but I didn't know what it was called, and I kept seeing clips years later, and I was like, oh my god, that's Tron Legacy. That's the movie that I watched like all those years ago.
How much do you remember from it?
Quite a bit. But I also don't remember like every single thing that happens, but I remember like certain plot beats and stuff. And then when they announced the new one, I was very curious that they were continuing the franchise. And then they casted Jared Leto in the lead role, and all my excitement went away.
So, for me, my only introduction to the Tron series, both the movies and the video games, was that one sequence in Wreck-It Ralph where they play Tron.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so I kind of knew what the game was. And so when I heard that there were movies, I was interested. I didn't really get into them until much later. There's a friend of mine who's really, really into Tron. So to honor him, I put Tron Legacy on my most anticipated for the year, at I think number 18. Tron Ares I put on my most anticipated. And then I went back and watched all the other Tron movies, and I discovered that I don't like Tron. I don't like Tron.
Yeah, for me, it's one that I haven't seen Tron Legacy in a long time. I never saw the original Tron, but it's one that's just like I remember the music. Like the Daft Punk score for Tron Legacy is legitimately one of my favorite soundtracks in any movie. I love Daft Punk, and I think the music that they did was great. And really, my only draw to Tron Ares was last year when they announced that Nine Inch Nails, not just Trent Reznor, but Nine Inch Nails was going to be doing the soundtrack. I got really excited because if you can't get Daft Punk back, if you don't know, they broke up in 2021. That was something that really got me excited, was just to hear the Nine Inch Nails music. And as we dive more into it, I think is going to be something that I think we bring up quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, the score is a prominent part of Ares, and it was a prominent part of Legacy. Not so much the original Tron. The original Tron didn't have a big booming techno score. I do not like the original Tron. I think it is a quite boring movie. And we'll discuss, there's some tie-ins to the original Tron in this movie that we will discuss later on. Is there anything else you want to say before we start the film?
Nope.
I'm good.
Oh, there's one last thing.
Oh, never mind.
This movie was directed by Joachim Rüning. I've been trying to pronounce that forever. I don't know if I got it right. I'm sorry.
I'm going to butcher it, so you will not be hearing me pronounce that.
Joachim Rüning.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Rüning.
He's a Norwegian filmmaker. He directed a lot for Disney. He did Maleficent 2.
Yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
Yeah, which I have seen both of those.
And A Young Woman in the Sea with Daisy Ridley, which I have not seen, but I've heard is very good. I have not heard good things about most of his filmography.
Yeah. As for me, like I was actually shocked how much of his filmography I knew. I literally haven't. I couldn't really tell you much about him besides the films that he's done. He seems like he's a puppet for Disney.
Yeah.
It's just like they seem to work well with him, and they seem to just give him whatever because they gave him Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which is a movie that I thought was quite bad. And then he directed the most recent, I think it was Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I think that's correct, yeah.
The most recent Pirates of the Caribbean, which I did see in theaters when it originally came out. I think it's fine. It's just like a serviceable enough adventure film.
Yeah, he's a studio director.
Yeah, he's a studio. He has no distinct style, and I think once we get into Tron Ares, I think that still stands.
I would be excited to see him do something unrelated to Disney, kind of untethered, and see what his style is. But as of right now, it's hard to say that he has a distinct style. Although watching this movie, there's some stylistic elements I could pick up on. And having not seen any of his other films, maybe ththose carry over. I don't 100% know.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing is to talk about the elephant in the room, Jared Leto.
Oh, God.
Hello, I am back.
Oh, no, it's Jared Leto.
That's Jared Leto.
This
Everyone.
is Jared Leto Tron. This is the peak of my acting skills.
Jared Leto is known for two things: his stony face when acting and his sexual misconduct allegations.
Yeah.
We all know Jared Leto. None of us like Jared Leto. Do any of us like Jared Leto?
I'd like him less.
There's certain roles of his that I do think he does good in, but I feel like most of the time he's a distraction.
He is a distraction. I would say Panic Room he's good in, and Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, Panic Room, Requiem for a Dream. I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club. Apparently he was good in that. But a lot of his best stuff is only like I can count on one hand how many of his performances I actually like. Everything else is just like I just find him to be so much of a distraction, and I don't know why Hollywood keeps giving him new roles.
Yeah,
it just baffles me.
Could not see how he fits into the Tron Ares role. He's I don't.
And what makes it worse, he's a method actor.
Yeah, oh god, I hate method acting. And that's the thing. Jared Leto's highest profile roles have certainly been Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
which is where a lot of those allegations come from.
Yeah.
And it would have to be Morbius in Morbius.
Yeah. Both comic book films.
Both comic book movies, and that's true. Most of the biggest movies in the last 10 years have been comic book movies.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It's kind of self-selecting. He's played in two. He wasn't good in Morbius. I didn't see Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because for me, like when those before I watched Suicide Squad, like the casting of Jared Leto was like one of the few castings. Like whenever you cast someone to play either Batman or the Joker, they instantly get hate no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared Leto was one that's just like he's such a weird and quirky guy that it's just like Joker is a weird and quirky character. So it's just like someone who like it's just like at least for me, like before watching Suicide Squad, I actually bought I didn't read any of the online discourse for the film like before I watched it, and it was something that's just like I could possibly, like, in my head, I was like, Jared Leto as the Joker isn't bad casting, but I don't know, like, the weird cat noises and the damaged tattoo on his forehead just is like, why? Like, I just don't know what his ideas were there.
Yeah. So let's move into the film, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the opening to start. We have that really cool neon Disney logo that they do for the Tron movies. I really, really like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, they did that with Legacy. I remember that.
I think once we're gonna talk about it, our theme is the not the graphics, the visuals. Those were amazing.
For me, that was the highlight of the entire thing.
It's gotta be it.
Yeah, if the visuals sucked here, I would have been even more disappointed than I was. But it's something that's just like the visuals, like the world of the grid. I just think it's just such an interesting place to set a movie on, especially like in the Tron universe. And it's something that's just like the visuals. I think there wasn't like any spot. I didn't really notice much spotty CG or anything like that. I think it was all done well.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen from clips of the original Tron movie, they do a different take on the computer world. Yeah. It's less of like a dreamlike state as I guess later in the movie they did with the throwback to it. There's a definitely different
moment in the end of this movie. But yeah, even in Legacy, the grid in general is much more fully realized in these more modern Tron movies. So Tron Ares begins with a little opening scene. We're going through all these bits of codes that are falling around us, and we get clips of like interviews and stuff and news clippings to give us a refresher on what's happening. So here's the refresher. In Tron, this guy named Kevin Flynn,
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges'
Jeff Bridges.
character in the original Tron, he takes over this company called Encom. His previous boss starts a rival tech company called Dillinger Systems, I think. So Encom versus Dillinger, that's the core battle in this whole series. Jeff Bridges' son, not his actual son, his character's son, Sam Flynn, ends up taking over at the end of Legacy. He brings with him a woman named Quora, who was in the grid initially in Tron Legacy. She was like a special kind of program that Kevin Flynn had made. Now, what we're ostensibly supposed to believe has happened in between Tron Legacy and Tron Ares is Sam Flynn and Quora have disappeared, they've stepped down, and in their place are the Kim sisters, these tech billionaire sisters, and then on the Dillinger side, Dillinger's grandson, Julian, has taken over that company. And now those two are at war. They're trying to find something called the Permanence Code. What do you think about the fact that they've completely ditched Tron Legacy?
I thought that was just a bad move. People who watch Tron Legacy, like Tron Legacy does have a cult following online, and the fact that's just like they kind of denounced that, and they're just like, hey, remember this one? Oh yeah, we're gonna do something completely different now. And it's just like, I get wanting to do your own thing, but it's just like Tron Legacy. Like, I haven't watched it in a while, but apparently like it teases a really cool idea for a sequel, and all these years later, they don't do that, and it's just like it's just baffling to me.
There was also a setup with a character played by Cillian Murphy in Tron Legacy, who's in it for about one scene, kind of sets himself up as a weird, interesting antagonist, potentially protagonist, a little bit of a gray area there. He's in it for one scene. He doesn't come back in this movie. They were definitely trying to start something with Legacy, and they've rebooted the series, essentially. Completely different characters.
Yeah. I just thought that was such an odd choice. Like, Sam Flynn, I remember being in Quora, I just thought were just such interesting characters. Or, like, maybe not the most interesting characters, but the ones that's just, like, I would have been fine seeing them again. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. The filmmakers behind this movie. Hey, let's get Jared Leto.
So, Sam Flynn disappearing, is that part of Legacy?
No.
Or is that
No.
new...
Completely unrelated thing.
So, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's teased so much throughout the film, but they never, like, go into it for whatever reason. It feels like it's supposed to be a plot point, but it's just, oh, he disappeared. It's kind of just feels like a slap in the face to people who wanted a Legacy sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, you wanted this? No, it's literally just gone. It's disappeared. Here's some new magical Disney bullcrap for you to sit down and enjoy.
It's Disney.
And the rest of the movie kind of
Lasers
felt that to me. Like the Tron movie, I mean, from what I remember from Legacy, it's like you remember the visuals and the score much more than the actual story itself. Mm-hmm. And all these years later, and given where Tron Legacy ends, it's just like you would think they have a more clear story in mind. And with this film, it's just like the visuals are great, as expected from a Tron movie. The score from Nine Inch Nails, I thought was great. Not anywhere near Daft Punk's in my opinion, but I think if you're going to replace them, Nine Inch Nails are the guys to do it. But again, like the story here, it's just as like bitter thin, like serviceable, like forgettable story to a movie. I found it completely uninteresting. And it's one that's just like all these years later, this is the best you come up with.
It was a serviceable soundtrack, I'd say. It served its purpose well, but it wasn't overwhelmingly memorable.
To where it's just like the movie feels like a music video. To where there's like those scenes that happen, but it's just like it feels like Trent Reznor and Ross behind Nine Inch Nails were doing a Tron themed music video.
Oh yeah. Right.
And that's what the movie felt like, except it's stretched out for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And starring Jared Leto. Again, recurring theme here.
So we're introduced to our main characters. There's Eve Kim, played by Greta Lee, one of the Kim sisters. It's revealed later that her sister Tess Kim died of cancer. I'll talk about that a little later because there's something that irks me about that plot point. And then Julian Dillinger is played by Evan Peters, and his mother, who is
Gillian Anderson.
Yes, his mother's Gillian Anderson.
Just sits there, I guess.
She really does. She sits there for most of the movie.
She wags her finger at Dillinger, calls him a naughty boy.
You can't be doing that. You can't do that. The whole movie, she's like, you can't do that. You're going too far. You're going too far. You shouldn't be doing that. And then she's like, there's a point in the movie where like she literally gets stabbed, and it's just like
why was she there for?
So like Evan Peters is like, why would you keep doing this after like all of that? It's just like so baffling to me.
And it's like they're trying to build up some tension and some conflict, but there's none. There's no conflict. It's literally just one...
Just, Mummy, I'm not going to listen to you. Ha, ha, ha.
Exactly. So yeah, all the characters from Legacy are gone. They don't appear in this movie with the exception of the Jeff Bridges character. It's set up in this like tech demo thing that Dillinger Systems and ostensibly NCOM have figured out a way to put things from the grid into the real world. The main plot point of the original film was that things could go from the real world into the grid. The grid is the electrical world of Tron. And so now they've managed to take things from that grid into the real world for 29 minutes. And that's what the permanence code is to make these things stay for longer than 29 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole appeal of this movie is that, hey, we saw once where it was set inside the grid. How about, instead of all these years later, let's bring the Tron into the real world?
Tron goes into the real world.
Isn't that so exciting?
That's so
do you want to see a motorbike ride around and split a police car in half? Do you want to see a giant like vehicle from the grid flying around the city?
Do you want to see the letter N float ominously towards a building?
Yeah.
Desperately.
I mean, this is
flying through the buildings instead of.
I mean, this is what the people want, right?
I'll get to
I mean,
that later.
No,
That's so stupid.
This also has some weird implications about the character of Quora, because she comes from the grid into the real world, and we don't really talk about her a whole lot.
If ever.
Did she get de-rezzed after 29 minutes? What happened?
Yeah.
So Eve Kim goes to this Arctic base to find the permanence code. It is weirdly skipped over that she spends 3 months in that Arctic base.
She spent 3 months in there?
Yeah, she seems to the time seems to pause whenever something is happening in this movie, because basically she goes to the Arctic base, she starts looking through floppy disks, Julian Dillinger does his whole presentation about bringing things into the real world, and then the next scene is Eve being like, it's been 3 whole months that we've been here. And it's like, what?
And just Arturo Castro's character. I've been eating these burritos for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's literally all we get from it. Wow, talk about subtlety. You never see that anywhere else in the film.
Arturo Castro's character is named Seth Flores. Some kind of relationship, potentially right-hand man to Eve.
He's just a comedy.
Yeah, he's like weirdly comic relief kind of.
I didn't understand why he was there. To be honest with you,
he's the guy who says he's right behind me, isn't he?
He's the guy who explains the plot after the commercial break. You know, they put the commercial in, and then he's like, "I can't believe that all the things that happened before the commercial break just happened."
Isn't that crazy?
So that's what he does.
Yeah,
that's the purpose of his character. It's annoying and obnoxious, but
but he's not in the movie a time, so it's just like I honestly
trees in the real world.
Yes, so they end up finding the permanence code, and they bring an orange tree into the real world, which is a throwback to the first Tron. The first thing that they put in the grid is an orange,
and also sets up the fact that Greta Lee's character Eva, is that right?
Just regular Eve, yeah.
That Greta Lee's character wants to help humanity and bring the crops in the real world and help make sustainable bullcrap and stuff like that using the lasers. And Dillinger, on the other hand, wants to make military vehicles and make $1 trillion and do evil things and whatnot.
Right.
It's a very obvious dynamic that they put.
Right. It's two tech giants in 2 different industries. One of them is the good guy because they're in healthcare, and the other is the bad guy because they're in warfare. Okay, simple. But you know what? I can get behind it.
Yeah, I can get behind it if Greta Lee's character didn't sound like she had asthma for the entire movie.
Oh my God.
Every single I turned to Jesse. I kid you not, we were in the theater, and I turned to every line. And I was like, is she good? Like,
She's
like,
hyperventilating all the
she
time.
needs to sit down.
She needs an inhaler. She needs to lie down.
like, I get it. Like, there's a part like
outside?
she rides on a bike with Jared Leto, and then like she was in this like giant explosion with a building. But like, I get like some scene like she's just doing research, and she's like, it sounds like she needs to like puff an inhaler or something. No offense if she actually has asthma, but like, Jesus Christ, like her whole character the entire movie just sounds out of breath. Like she just ran a marathon before the take.
See, I don't think that she has asthma, because if she has asthma, I'm 100% sure they would have mentioned it.
That's a character flaw. You don't have. She doesn't have character flaws.
She's the good tech.
But did the director literally just like, okay, for every single scene, sound the most out of breath you can possibly sound. I don't care what the circumstance is. I want you to just sound like you just ran a marathon.
Or maybe she just had that naturally.
Yeah,
maybe. Or I mean, they could have shot in a more calm environment.
Yeah,
if she was breathing so heavily.
Turn up the heat a little bit.
Turn up the heat.
So, Ares So they send Ares and his bunch of cronies, including a program named Caius, played by Cameron Monaghan.
That pissed me off. For
3 seconds?
I was so mad.
What?
They literally cast Cameron Monaghan for 3 seconds just so he can get crushed by like a giant...
Insane. And
like, you're talking about the dude from Gotham. Or like...
And they send them all into this weird spire of blue light where all of NCOM's files are stored, and they download Greta Lee's, or Eve Kim's, user file. What's a user file? Hard to say. It seems to just be everything that happened in someone's life uploaded onto some server like the Yellow Pages. I don't get it, but whatever.
It's just all the information in her head, I guess, text messages
And this is where we learn through implication, and this is the one thing in the entire movie that is implied, that her sister died of cancer.
Never mentioned again. It just happens.
It's never mentioned again, and
is it really implied though? Like the one time they talked about it, or the flashback, or whatever it was
like, it wasn't implied. It was very much
very overt.
That's true. Although they don't say it in dialogue, and they say most things in dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
And you'll see there's actually a later scene in which, instead of Greta Lee acting and showing how Eve Kim feels about her sister and how that's affected her life since, they instead have Ares kindly explain to the audience what Eve Kim thinks about her sister and how it affects
Which,
her
on
life.
one hand, like, this is the type of movie where I just glaze over and not pay attention to the plot. So that could have helped me, to understand the plot, as stupid as that was. But at the same time, it was so easy for me to get, even when I was just stimulated by the pretty visuals.
I mean, for most moviegoers, that's all they want. And it's just like, at the end of the day, I could see somebody liking this movie just because, the visuals are cool. And it's just like, it'll do its job. It'll do its job. It'll entertain for 2 hours. But it's just, if you're looking for more than that, this isn't the movie for you.
It's true about every Tron movie.
Yeah.
But I think the whole point is that we're not the average film viewers, because if the average film viewer had a podcast, the world would be a lot more boring.
Yeah.
So they chase Eve for the permanence code. She has like a disk drive, and they chase her in a very nice looking motorcycle chase. Kind of neon, kind of industrial, kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
And then they send her to the grid.
Oh, the grid.
The scary grid.
And she actually just ends up in Ares' weird personal penthouse suite thing. That was odd.
Yeah, I mean, visually it looks really cool because of the red coloring, but
it's
like at the same time,
black
it's just
and
like
red city with cool cars and stuff. It does not translate at all from the original Tron computer worlds. It, like, they're supposed to emulate the computerness of the time, but this just looks like a regular alternate dimension.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's how it felt.
It's odd, and there's also a whole thing with Ares talking to Dillinger through this floating face character that kind of drops pearls of wisdom, and it's not wisdom, it's just Dillinger, and we can literally see him typing his responses into the computer, and that's where Eve Kim ends up.
Sounds familiar. Wink, wink. It's like almost like he's talking to ChatGPT.
Well, he is ChatGPT. That's the thing. He is ChatGPT,
but he goes in the real world.
And the thing is, he is like very obviously learning to like be human, I guess, on some level.
he sees a firefly or something in a raindrop, and then he suddenly has this epiphany. Oh, I want to be a real boy, like Pinocchio.
I mean, which inherently it's like that is kind of interesting, but it's a trope that's been done so many times, and this movie just does the bare minimum of everything.
Right.
That it's just like Ares is a character, like all the characters in this movie, I just didn't latch into whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's just like when that happens, I'm like, cool.
And it's awful. The thing that he latches onto as like the most human experience is listening to Depeche Mode. And it's like, we are really 80s baiting here. You know? Like,
I love
this
the
is
80s. Hello, I am Jared Leto, Tron 4 billion here.
I'm looking for
love
something.
The 80s. I love big cellular phones and driving in vintage cars.
Right. This is like for people that grew up with the Tron DVD, or they weren't DVDs back in that era, but like would be renting Tron and watching it and listening to Personal Jesus in the 90s, you know?
Millennials. They'd love this movie.
Oh my God,
Oh
yeah.
my.
And it's very frustrating. It reads like not interesting at all to a modern audience. And the thing is, this movie's plot is aimed at kids 10 and younger, and this movie's references are aimed at adults who are at least 40.
Yeah, it'll appeal to somebody sitting in the audience somewhere.
Yeah,
It'll appeal to somebody.
I mean, statistically, it probably appealed to one person in our theater, in our packed 6-person theater.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. We will get to that.
That's all there was to say. There's 6 people in the theater. And
Well, I mean, just generally, it's box office performance we'll talk about. And so Dillinger is trying to now kill Eve. He a switch is flipped in his mind, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill Eve," and his mother's like, "You're not gonna kill Eve."
Yeah, killing people's bad. You gotta watch out for that.
I
want to kill Eve. Also get the permanence code, but I also want to kill her. And
right, the permanence code comes second.
Yeah.
First kill Eve.
Wait a minute.
And it's just like
He's like a cartoon villain, is what it felt like to me.
Yeah, he's very cartoony.
I love Evan Peters, but like the character was just written to be such a cartoon.
Yeah,
and it's
and
just like
he's bringing something to it, but it's not interesting really. And so Ares takes Eve, and they escape from the grid. And Ares is like, if you make me permanent, I'll let you escape. You know. And they say yes, and then there's the car scene in which Ares goes on a whole monologue about how Greta Lee's character feels. Oh my God, it is one of the most upsetting scenes in any movie that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
It's just, literally, he's like, the death of your sister made you feel like you had to live up to her. And it's like, I really, really wish that we had discussed this earlier in the movie and not literally at the perfect halfway mark.
Yeah, I wish we didn't discuss it at all. Instead, it was implied, maybe through acting or maybe a good storyline.
But like, no one cares. No one cares. Like, I don't latch into that. And it's just like the way they do it. It's just like, let's just have the most serviceable enough. Let's just throw it in somewhere just to have like an emotional punch. But you don't. It's like a flick.
And that's the thing. And they treat Eve's sister, I think her name's Tess, right?
Tess. How do you remember that?
I wrote it down. And her dying of cancer is treated as a plot twist. It's like, whoa, bet you didn't see this coming. She died of cancer. But the fact that I didn't know that before, and her actions haven't been special or interesting in any way, it doesn't hit me in a way that explains any of her previous actions. And we see when Ares is looking through the file and we see the video of them singing happy birthday to Tess on what is presumably her final birthday, there's a really good acting moment from Greta Lee in there where she is...
and she's not out of breath.
She's not out of breath, but she can't bring herself to sing happy birthday, but she can't bring herself not to sing happy birthday. Because one of them is bad for her sister and one of them is bad for her. And it's a great moment, and it's the one moment where Greta Lee gets the chance to do something. But
and then it gets dumped upon by a newscast saying, "Oh, Tess Lee died of cancer. I hope you got that from before, but here's the explanation from me, a newscaster, to explain it to you."
And then here's Ares saying, your sister died of cancer, and it impacted you in these ways, and this is why you did this. And it's like...
This is Jared Leto analyzing his own movie. I did not come here to watch a review of the movie that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need an explainer, if a single explainer video gets published about Tron Ares,
Just take clips
yeah,
from the.
just post the movie. It
Yeah.
explains itself. So there is no.
There's also the
We'll never know.
meaning. There's
We will
also
never. The world will never know,
You know-
what there's no of.
there is no deeper meaning because it was
Yeah.
also explained through
Yeah.
the impermanence the permanence code.
Oh,
And the
gosh.
reason I mentioned impermanence
Yeah,
code was
oh.
because it was mentioned twice, just to hammer in the fact that if Ares were to become a real boy, that he would eventually die someday. That's what was
Right.
not even implied. That's what was said.
That's what was said. That's
both by
text.
Jeff Bridges and by Ares himself.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of Jeff Bridges, that's another part that they
Yeah.
shoved, and I mean shoved in the marketing to where
Yeah.
they stumble across Kevin Flynn's old office, and they basically sent Ares into the original Tron world, which I will say visually, I think they did a great job. I mean, common theme here. And then you get a hologram, which I know Jesse threw you off at first. They have a hologram of Kevin Flynn, because if you've seen Tron Legacy, and Kevin Flynn, I believe, dies at the end of that movie.
He does. He gets de-resed, and the idea is that Ares. So they send Ares into Kevin Flynn's original grid, which is the grid from the original Tron movie. Very retro, very nostalgia baity for a movie that I don't like and was not alive to see the release of. And he goes through that grid. It's they say what should I expect, and Greta Lee says it's very 80s, and he says I like 80s. Okay, I don't care.
I like the 80s.
I like the 80s. I like 80s.
I like 80s.
That's S tier. Like, I mean, Jared Leto's just winning every single Oscar for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I am
two-time
Jared
Academy Award.
Leto
Two-time
from
Academy
here
Award
back
winner
to
coming.
explain the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's
I
like
like
that whole
80s,
part just
goodbye.
like it just felt so shoehorned into me, and I'm baffled at the fact that the trailers like basically shoved that in everybody's face. I think it would have made more of an impact if it was
Jeff Bridges is in there for only like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's in there for 5 minutes,
And
but
he's
the
on the
trailers
poster.
imply he's on the poster, and I feel like marketing wise, I don't know if that was just they were just trying to get butts and seats with
Seats.
butts and seats, which spoiler alert does not work. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's something that's just like I felt like it would have had more of an impact if it was something that was revealed inside of the movie. Like, oh, Kevin Flynn, they're in the original grid.
Yeah.
Whereas in the trailers, like, oh, well, we saw that in the trailers.
The main poster for the movie, which you've probably seen, is the climax of the movie. Is the big moment in which Ares gets the impermanence code and goes to the overworld. And really that whole sequence is really just to hammer in the fact that when you're alive, sometimes you die.
Yeah.
And there's some really good potential tie-ins there. We can talk about Tess dying of cancer, but they don't. They don't talk about it. And they
explained.
they explain every single thing in the movie without backing it up with any text from the movie.
Yeah, it just kind of happens without much of any explanation at all.
Just say it.
Right. It's there just to say it's there, but that's about it. And like the whole story to me just kind of felt like it's just like there's just like minor stuff that's just so that the plot can continue, but at the same time, like story wise, it's just completely uninteresting to me.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, visuals are cool, music elevates a lot of the sequences for me, but it's just like I couldn't really tell you much about the story at all.
Yeah, and it's like
I even wrote it down. I even have it in front of me, and I was like, I still can't tell you what this means.
when you ask about what the themes are in this movie, and you ask for a scene maybe to exemplify that theme,
Oh boy.
what you get is this movie is about permanence. And what's the thing that supports the fact that it's about permanence? Well, maybe the 2.5-minute monologue about permanence. And that's it. There is nothing in the characters, in the stories, in the writing, in anything that connects back to whatever it's trying to say than the monologue about the thing that it's trying to say. The rest of the movie is just for looking pretty.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a side of it, too, that's just like, Tron's very, like, they even say in the movie so much talk about AI in the media, and it's something that's just, like, sending it in a time where years later AI has just become this thing. I will say this, if you go into a Tron movie expecting, like, a huge thought-provoking, like, lesson or, like, a mostly resonant theme of, like, some of, like, the prestigious movies, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? Second of all, I feel like it's something that's just, like, there's at least something to say there, and I feel like AI permanence, you can at least make something about it. But here they barely scratch the surface.
I completely disagree with you. I don't think that's a fair assessment at all, because you look at what Disney was putting out before, and they put out The Lion King, Flight of the Navigator, Beauty and the Beast, animated and live action movies that had legitimate things to say about what they were about. They're about something. They have themes. They're subtle. The writing conveys what they're supposed to be about and conveys the characters without being explicit. Like, there's no monologue in which Jeff Bridges shows up to Simba and says, this movie about revenge and the need to feel vengeance or whatever thing that they wanted to put in with that scene. It's not... There's no scene like that. There's no scene. Timon and Pumbaa don't tell Simba, you have to go back because this is a retelling of Hamlet. That's not part of the movie. That is ingrained in its DNA, but told subtly. You have to know the story, and the story is told really, really well. So saying that you can't expect a Disney movie for kids to carry thematic weight is ignorant, in my opinion. Disney's done better. And I expect them to do better because I know that they can. This doesn't feel like they did what they could because this was the movie that they always have made in their history. It reads to me like they didn't try. So later in the movie, we get the big fight sequence, right? There's Athena, who is Ares' counterpart, the secondary strongest soldier. She's much less interesting character.
Now the evil one.
Right, now the evil android.
She didn't touch a firefly or experience the raindrops.
So she does experience the raindrops, and then she's like, I'm still evil, true. By the way. I'm still evil. And so her mission is to exterminate Eve-Kin by any means necessary, and part of that means is killing Julian Dillinger's mother, the Gillian Anderson character. And then... making that big end machine from the first movie, the big grabber thing from.
Let me tell you a little bit. Okay, before that, she flies in on her elytra wings from Minecraft.
The movie doesn't
imagine
the movie doesn't explain how that works, and it's not something that was established in Tron. It happened. They fly now, but just like in Rise of Skywalker, they fly now.
It reminded me of the wings visually from Ultra Kill. You know what I'm talking about? So she just flies over and tries to kill or magical laser Kim into the computer world, the grid, I should say. Mm-hmm. But she gets distracted for 2 seconds and then just disappears. I don't know what's the Dereses. Instead of doing the exact same thing without, just not being distracted for 2 seconds, she takes the time to put in a code and wait for a 3D printed model of the giant N to float ominously at a very slow pace. It's so funny to me, even because when it's floating down in the city, I know for the plot, it has to follow Kim at a reasonable distance.
Right.
But why couldn't it just go above the buildings a couple 100 feet higher and go to the one destination it's looking for? There's so much plot armor that they give Kim, and it's just insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Going back to the one part that reminded me of is when Jared Leto and Kim come into the real world, right in front of Dillinger, and he just lets him go. He's like, "Oh, you have 29 minutes, just go." Yeah. You're not gonna win and all that.
And there's the scene that we're all expecting, where they have Eve on the ropes. They're about to get her. They're gonna get her once and for all, and our heroes are gonna lose. And then Ares Ex Machina, he comes back from the original grid, and his armor, instead of being highlighted with red, is highlighted with white.
Well, guess what, guys? He's not evil anymore.
He's a good guy.
But he was never evil to begin with. So
he was kind of evil to start, and I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
No.
the color symbolism, ironically, could have used better work. Essentially, computer means red, and
Also
real world
green in the
means not
beginning.
red.
Yeah, but the design looks cool, and that's the
Yeah.
point.
Right. That is, whoa, it's cool. Yeah, that's the ticket. um, and then Ares destroys Athena. Everything's cool. Everything's good. Dillinger, in an attempt to escape the police, gridifies himself. Now he's in the grid.
Sequel.
There's a sequel tease. Ares says that he's gonna try to find Sam Flynn. He's like a weird like biker now. He has like a motorcycle. He just basically looks like Jared Leto. He's like just regular Jared Leto now.
They found Jared Leto on the streets. So like,
Jeans.
oh, we need something in the movie. Let's put a shot footage of Jared Leto on a motorcycle.
Right. I don't know how his age works. Is he gonna live like 80 years, or is he already 30 years old? Like what?
Is that kind of what they imply with the impermanence code?
Well, they imply that he's going to die at some point, but the fact that they modeled him after a 40-year-old man doesn't necessarily make him a 40-year-old man.
Does he need to eat, sleep, crap, do any?
I
don't know.
I assume so. I mean, I never thought that we were going to get Jared Leto shitting in this movie, but I assume that he does. We see him eating at the end of the movie. Do we? I think he did. He's sitting in a restaurant.
He's sitting at
he doesn't eat anything, but he's sitting there.
That implies that he was
eating.
Even though beforehand, like Dillinger explicitly states at the showcase conference thingy that they can't eat, they don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep.
I guess the impermanence code turns him from Tron or like from Ares to Jared Leto. So now he's just like a regular guy, I guess.
I don't know.
But like this, is he like a baby now? Like, does he need like milk? Like, how does that work?
I don't.
Does he like? I don't understand how his age works. I assume that they're just gonna write it off because there's not really anything to.
Next movie, Jared Leto. I mean, Ares disappears. Plastered all over the wall in newspapers.
Yeah. Right. Ares. We got completely new CEO. Played by Mason Thames.
2 completely new companies. And
right.
A whole new plot, everything.
This movie, it's actually called Ront. It's not called Tron. They have to go into the GERD. Yeah, so that's the end of the movie. There's a sequel tease. Encon's character has fixed all the problems with the world.
Speaking of sequel teases, we should probably talk about how this movie's doing at the box office because domestically it made worse than the box office smash that was Morbius, and if you didn't get that, that's sarcasm.
Yes.
This movie did not do very well, and it was projected to do around 60 to 90. It did way worse than that worldwide.
Yeah. So looking at the Hollywood Reporter's actuals chart, which just came out. It grossed $33.2 million in its opening gross, which, yes, it took the top of the box office, but Morbius, as we discussed, I think made 39. It was predicted to make, some predictors had it up at 90 million for this weekend. Estimates said, maybe it'll make 60, 70 million. On its first day, those estimates dipped to 40, 50 million. And now they're at 30 million. Really, really, really poor performance from Tron Ares.
And people are celebrating. People are celebrating because of it.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna celebrate because that's rude. But yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie.
Care to celebrate anything? There's nothing to.
Because this is a movie that I hoped would be a lot. I would find a lot more entertainment value than I did. But at the end of the day, I just walked out and I was like, I don't think I like that.
Yeah, and it's this movie's failure might not even end the Tron series. It might. There's sequel teases at the end of this movie, but
they're definitely gonna make another one.
I don't see us getting another one for another 10 years. That's the schedule that they're on at this point. I'm sure Lisberger's writing something. Tron is his baby. He loves writing for it. Fair enough. I don't blame him. And this isn't going to end Jared Leto's career either, as much as we'd love it to. He's booked for the live-action Masters of the Universe next year.
Yeah,
he is Skeletor. Right. So, what does this box office result really have to do with anything, It's not going to stop them from making new movies. New movies with Jared Leto and new movies in the Tron series. It's just, we know that the audiences aren't stricken by... they aren't as stricken by this franchise as maybe we thought that they would be. And yeah, It's received a generally tepid reaction from critics, 57 on Rotten Tomatoes, 87 for audience score, which is a little bit better, but it's the kind of movie that does good on audience score, so I see that. Yeah, what did you think about the movie overall? Ratings? I don't know. We still haven't standardized a rating system for this show, so we've just been using all of them, but, what do you think?
I guess for me, like on the using a letterbox standpoint, because that's where I tend to review stuff on, at least publicly.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie for me that I kind of alluded to my thoughts throughout. There it's just like, this movie, I think the best way to describe it is a 2-hour Nine Inch Nails music video starring Jared Leto. To where, for that reason, there's a lot of great moments where I think their music shines and elevates some of the more visually appealing sequences. But this one that's just like story for me was just really lacking, as I think most people would agree when they walk out of this movie. And it's one that's just like at the end of the day, I was hoping for more enjoyment value than I did. So I would give it like a 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
These were characters I could not care less for.
Mm-hmm.
I was stimulated by all the cool visuals they provided for my face, but I was not entertained. I was not interested in anything that they had to say, even the analysis that they did for their own movie, which I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But overall, it's not. It's out of 5. Do we give our out of 5s now?
You can.
Yeah, give out of
Go for it.
5. We
I'm
don't have a
giving
rating system.
I'm giving a 2 out of 5. Stimulating, but not entertaining.
Yeah, that I'm on the same level. I gave it a 2.5. It's a movie for the face and not for the brain, but I'm not going to deny that the face is an important part of a movie. A lot of times my face will be satisfied when you frame something interestingly or when you're doing something interesting with the camera. This techno neon visual stuff also functions as that, but again, it doesn't go for the brain. It really is just there to look and sound pretty. Speaking of doing something interesting with the camera, can we talk about Joachim Rooning's visual style?
Well,
the camera is upside down a lot in this movie, and I don't know why.
Just for the sake of it?
Just for the sake of being upside. It's just like, whoa, we're tilting left, and now Jared Leto's on the bottom of the screen instead of the left of the screen.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's going up something, and instead of following him, they like flip it.
Right,
a certain way.
they turn it, and so it's like still going up, and then it's turned.
Perspective and computer.
But he's basically a puppet. Like, I don't think he has any sort of style. He's just there to get the job done.
He's literally Pinocchio in every sense of.
Yeah, Pinocchio.
Right.
He wants to be a real boy. He's pulled by the strings.
And I hope Rooning gets his chance to be a quote unquote real director, like to break out of the studio sphere. I hope that these studio movies are doing well for him. Like, I hope he's getting by. I think that him doing some interesting stuff with the camera suggests that he has some idea of something visually interesting that he wants to do, even in a non-techno world. There just needs to be some more intentionality behind it. And that's the thing with this movie. Despite how it attempts to portray itself, not a lot feels intentional about this movie. Y'all got any other thoughts? Any other things?
No.
You want to talk about? No.
I had no thoughts watching this movie, and I have no more right now.
Yeah. I mean, superficially stuff is entertaining, but ignorant guy over here, me.
That's not what I meant. Don't take it that way.
Look, me saying this is my first Tron movie I've ever seen. Do you recommend I watch the others to cleanse my palate? And if so, which ones?
I don't like any.
Two,
I don't like any Tron movie. I don't like the first one. I didn't like Legacy. I don't.
Yeah, because for me, I remembered enjoying Legacy, but it's been a while. At time of recording, I haven't rewatched the first two, so I can't say for sure if I don't like Tron. But like, I don't like this movie, and the discourse that I've read online is that even people who do like Tron don't like this movie. So I'm wondering how that factors into it. But I'm sure I'm gonna rewatch them at some point.
Yeah, I've watched them. I would say give Legacy a spin. A lot of people really like it. It's similarly visually pleasing as Tron Ares with a lot more interesting sequences.
Is there a plot?
Ostensibly. I didn't personally like it, but I think that other people might find it a little bit better than me. I haven't talked to someone who staunchly hates Tron Legacy. So give Tron Legacy a spin, maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, and the director Joseph Kosinski is the guy that ended up doing Top Gun Maverick and F1.
True.
So
Joseph Kosinski has had a long and not long, but illustrious career. He's done like 8 movies in the last 15 years, something like that.
I think less.
Maybe 5.
I think around that.
He did Tron Legacy, Oblivion, Top Gun Maverick, F1.
Only the Brave and Spiderhead.
Only the Brave and Spiderhead.
Yeah.
Okay. That tracks. So yeah, if you find yourself interested by any of those movies, it's always cool to see where directors come from. Yeah, so I suppose we should wrap up because this movie has completely exhausted its usefulness to us.
Hello, Jared Leto Tron back again.
So, Jared Leto Tron, where can they find you?
They can find me nowhere because
they can find you on the grid.
They can find me on the grid or in the real world in Mexico or something.
Yeah, go either go to Mexico or play Tron. You'll find Jared Leto, I'm sure. You can find me on Letterboxd at Threnv. That's THRNV.
And then for me, you can find me MJ Spiegel on Letterboxd, lowercase for all of those, and then you'd find a picture of me. So that's how you know it's me.
And I'll eventually get one.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Logan will get one. If you want Logan to get one, post in the comments, and we'll bother him until he signs up.
Yeah, we will force him at gunpoint to get a Letterboxd. If we see one comment, we will force him to get one.
Yeah,
Well,
single
it doesn't
comment.
even have to relate.
Yeah, no, you just literally comment anything, and we will force Logan to get a letterbox.
Yeah.
And
Comment
also,
the letter N. A giant letter N floating towards us.
and if you want to include the T, R, and O, up to you. Well,
no pressure.
no pressure.
No pressure.
With all that being said, roll credits, seek the impermanence code. I'm sorry, sorry, Max, for calling you ignorant.
No, you're good.
I didn't mean it
Honestly,
like
you're
that.
good. No,
you're
you're
a great
totally
co-host
fine.
and a great critic.
No, you're totally fine.
Follow
you're
him
totally
on
fine.
Letterboxd for my mistakes. All right, see you next, guys. See you next time.
Peace.
Letotron powering out.
Nothing is permanent.